end of 90 minutes, Concede Asante Kotoko 1, Basake Holy Stars 2. Concede Asante Kotoko 1, Basake Holy Stars 2. Next, Basake Holy Stars Ashe Concede Asante Kotoko by 2-1. The unbeaten run of Concede Asante Kotoko comes to an end. Kotoko unbeaten abewie na it looks like there is a repeat of what happened to Kotoko last season. Kotoko last season, I guess our first defeat was against Legon Cities. So Legon City share Kotoko 2-1 at Accra Sports Stadium. That game was also an outstanding game. Sa Brennan Asante Kotoko US Kotoko bar back. Omuko ball Basake 1-1 omuto asoko Accra Wednesday bi. And Legon City share Kotoko 2-1. That time Legon Cities normally are struggling without a win. And former Asante Kotoko coach Parker Sifebi share Kotoko. Former Kotoko coach or share Kotoko 2-1. Now and then Basake Holy Stars a struggling side in the Ghana Premier League. So and then Asha Asante Kotoko by 2-1. And there's a former Asante Kotoko coach in Johnson Smith. And LED Basake Holy Stars amene ometimi Asha Asante Kotoko by 2-1. I said umani time in I kept on drawing cautions. As now my focus was to warn Kotoko. Monya careful because strategically, when you look at the Basake Holy Stars team, reasons in Tiana Maker say, Asante Kotoko, Emo Meninda say, they are coming in with unknown players. Yes. And a team with unknown players, it becomes difficult to stop them. And a player by Kwanami Bondimpa was Prince Chinabwa. And you saw how instrumental now are in the game. Away from that, Basake team in team one, we can say when a key player and Tianfa saying cost upon. So consistently I was drawing the attention. Said match no, they should not underestimate the game. Though on paper Asante Kotoko winning, but then said the other forms are and they said unfortunately coach Concede Zito and the second defeat as an Asante Kotoko coach in a Ghana Premier League Aba ene ewo Basake. Quite unfortunate, but yebe can one sem kakra now. So monitor comments now. Live now there, you know. Comment back here say, how can you win the league if you are struggling against a relegation side? A team one league aye bon all pre was you know. A crime ban soon aba first league no say won't mention one. And what this means that Kotoko will still stay at 20 points with no match in hand again. They say Kotoko stand in Waboni na. I stand in Kotoko ball draw with vision. And I Kotoko say goal stars. Obeka Kotoko nya 4 standing matches. Enti home ni me which was goal stars. Any vision, any young apostles ni na Kotoko share. But Walusu Basake and ball draw against vision. It's out of 12 points. In the 4 outstanding matches, Kotoko ball quite home and away, and a ball whack home and away. The 4 12 points in Kotoko na 7, Elusu 5. And Kotoko and Timmy and you are standing no, I found catching up with the teams on the top because at the end of the day, Ediana Stars currently with no match in hand. Yabo matches in area. Ediana is on top with 23 points. Midiama second with 22 out of rounds 22. Then Kotoko 20 points. They say there's a Kotoko 3 points behind league leaders in Ediana Stars. And again, Kotoko next game against Ediana, which is second round, and Asante Kotoko home, and Ediana Stars home and Nakwakobo. So it means that if Kotoko want to win the league, as I said, Wamupia Kumwa and Sana, Samachina may decide. Now, one of the comments, Kotoko is scarce when it comes to relegation teams. Last season, Legon Cities beat us, and that is coming from Prempeh. I was talking about complacency. Say all the teams are Kotoko ni omabo afi nyina gu nsene ani a de wasapa e Basake. But no so na mani abreka se wa ma wani anda ho a ono na be ma won se asi form ama de wahye nyina adwuregu. Now Kotoko's next game against Midiama at the Babara Sports Stadium, Kotoko will be playing under immense pressure. Pressure kesiye na be Kotoko team no so free say you now have to beat Midiama at all costs to sustain yourself in the title race. Omsi enko echi afeni about 11 matches. We have about 22 matches left. Because second round about 17, first round aka 6. Your matches ni bebre we enim. Name coffee, name. You need to keep it at the back of your mind. Say, despite the remaining matches, which is about 34, Jacob almost 23 matches. Despite the remaining matches, the fans are doing our table no so. Into Obia Mekaso bebre wo ntie nya abutre. No, the fans will be talking about the gap. And say Kotoko Midiama 2 points. If Midiama one sheno on Sunday, na kwaye draw, we maintaining those 2 points and check Kotoko matches in the second round. At the end of home advantage against the big side. Kotoko beko Pandu, Kotoko beko be ebieni, Kotoko beko Takwa, and a Kotoko beko Doma. That's the second round matches. Into the match where you say when you have you kind of saying when you have teams that are in relegation, that's a one team in show more. What about the big side? A bit same baby amount. One team phantom. The way you have to build the points. You build the points before you meet the big ones. To sustain the gap. What's sustaining gap? There can be excuses. People can be talking about it. Oh, excuses. Yes, there are excuses. But many I think say one match out. If there was a game, I think I could compete in from one side. It should not be this game. It should not be Basake. That is my point. At least leave with a draw. Now, my own so be the Abase. On time for time for Gold Stars as stand and then can be concerned you're born in them. So they are looking at Vision, Young Apostles, and Basake. So if you are looking at it from Vision, Young Apostles, Basake, they are next got 4 out of 9. So say Vision. Or say about draw with Vision. And not say Basake, which is 4 out of 9. This is not the best because the kind of teams are now Kotoko or more bono. They should have find a way. Yes, you talk about how they are compressive fixtures, you know. But that is what we are champion necessarily. Champions die hard. This game, they've disappointed their supporters. I'm going to supporters, Ninja. I'm Kotoko. And now there is pressure on the Kotoko team. There is pressure on the Asante Kotoko team. And the coach started with Mohamed Kamara, Samba Lodamwa, Patrick Siedu, Zakaria Hussein, because Ablo later was not in the game. Peter Akwa, Inusa, Baba Eya, Adabo, Jehu, Kwame Poku. And Kwame Poku scored. Yes. Kwame Poku shegu. Now, me who say Nkofo raise the issue of travel to Western region with no leader. That conversation, neighbor, you be finding out in Pennyfu Ekoye. And your more many. But you see, sometimes I am person focus more on the playing body. Because in as much as can, the technical team have find a way to manage the issue of fatigue. They find a way to manage it because training and the kind of rest and then now enough for them to have the energy to play some of these matches. Because Basake na can on what tamale nwaba. And you know who Basa Basake for the best in field. You can't compare this bus to the Kotoko bus in terms of comfort during travels. Though it's a factor, but but on the field of play, the performance of the Asante Kotoko team after work, that was Kotoko ball Karela. At that time, yes to beka so na kwadwo set mu ho ne prepare ne ndoso but Kotoko team now the ball Karela do say na asesa with the exception of maybe a set sa team na share 4-2 no maybe abeka Saka any set but I'm just say injury to these two players should completely what I said should completely reduce the Kotoko team to 0. Enti time omu free work by na kwa se ye bibi ma chitafo no de asie nyina omu de cheyen wa hu se ne nkoma no koye enti wa Karela 4-2 hwe ne de omu de ball has but after that na I say abasobody and started by you know the performance started dropping because Kotoko vision it was not really the best. Kotoko vision no you be count on chances but na emu da ho then Kotoko aduana that was one game one na soro koda no and I said to establish the fact that Kotoko indeed episode of league no that's how much they count. Guess what happened and then the draw a lot of controversy surrounding refereeing decisions. Aduana bitterly complained about sir Patrick Essien do tackle on Basake free say a penalty then later there was a video of Alex Boachisu Tia Donzu Eboso into neutralize her. Then Kotoko played against Young Apostles. Look at how Kotoko struggled to beat Young Apostles. But near friends Apostles team is good in the Tonche. Then Kotoko Samates. If not based on the brilliance of Mohamed Kamara to save that last minute penalty. Emmanuel Mama. Enya Kebia Kotoko lose Samates match. And then they lose about. So Kotoko comfortably dominated Karela and defeated them. Kotoko has Kotoko share more goals. Etia has that day. The kind of quality chance Kotoko share. So those two matches, the team performance ni pejai, but now it is dipping. Over raising questions say coaching system because if your players need be honor, they feel their position on my aka. Until be omo field omo ye suro kakrana. The coach is not making these changes because his perfect excuses injuries, which is very troubling. Now, Asante ko the company for who bibi. I say I say your part behind the person here so bobon. Confe the company for ni hu ni say. Ya jitum se Kotoko hieska. Enu nti no mo ton abetamoa. But clearly, the state at which not those who based on matches are not those who are. The state at which Kwame Pokuo based on injury. And even Jordan Emisa, League we Kotoko Antimia and Dia, the selling of Albertamwa Ebebanko. It will come in. Because Albert Turner not transfer window need me home for Kotoko to replace. So it will come in. Now no be more I am pending for the bebo musubo. Omo supporters bebo musubo say decision I'm taking at that time was not the best. And it's part of football. I mean I won't sit here and say it's time for Kotoko. Say the other ADN say we here Kotoko league no na. Kotoko is out of the league. I mean count more be preach sa bi. Team form to me drop in a team form to me page. After Midiama game, no, Kotoko benya that 1 week space, and we are expecting some of the players now. On my prepare, for instance, I expect what you said. In who tournament me back. I can't say same for Saka and Ansu because I'm scan no now results near Ibikaka. But we are expecting entry no lead mo say on me back after a year. Kotoko free Basake no. But all in all, a hard thing. Now, I'm waiting to hear from Coach Karim Zito. So normally I'm person with tier coaches in the post match, then I'll listen to what he should be saying. Say Michael Fusu here. But who some of the comments, Prempe, Charles or Opokwache, my Kwame or say. Once when you imagine Zito. And I'm in Trema Zito because Confi yedi bibia to nkyɛn a bench ni nye hu mame. Oh, I've been hard on Zito, but se match here boy say bi a Kotoko wa lead. Kotoko wa ebi a entry. Ebi o bench bi a. Kotoko even kwadwo set bi wo mu a. Ebi eduru ba bi a Basake mfimfini na boso a. Ebi a baba di yellow. Unse baba yara pick a yellow card. Ti ebi a wa slow kakra no. Coach ni timi sisem. But say what to ani a if you are really being honest, the players on the bench, what kind of variations normally ba? Your conversation will be there in a coach, you know. Uncle to the extent of maybe our own creative, player full from man chance, maybe convert a player to a position. Maybe you be one so the Peter Bonai. Maybe you be one say be the Inu Sebi Bonai. But the question is, you will play a beyond ability and you'll be an experiment, you know. If the person is not having that quality, nipan crowd the ball right wing and no share saying now look at number 9. So we are here based on so many factors, and some of the factors include the attack not being sharp enough, the attack not having options for the coach to make changes. And when they are not the Biambisa Johnson, the say, what was the decision behind not registering Johnson? Because John Anamisa has been registered. Lawson Manu Jr., youth team slot, Ali Mohammed, youth team slot, and for them to play for Kotoko. So Johnson being part of the first 4 players as Kotoko signed, Minka said Johnson a bar and can be no. But we are currently discussing options in attack anymore. Oh, Mrantiene, I want to say, Akwakoye one way to coach 8 means Samu Bebri. And then I maybe say, why was he not registered? Did the team automatically lose confidence in him throughout? I say, GD, a woman and Iran preoccuped after just preseason, because see the preseason they can't someone. The Ekoshe a year Accra, Gaka top 4 now. So many players should have been deleted. But baby were registered. So why will a player be part of a Kotoko team? Ni a Tianeka. You will be paying him and he's not registered. And this is a timer and Nibono. And this is a player. Only coach na Juma paying. So in your mind, you expect that whilst other players will struggle to understand the philosophy and tactics of the coach, this is one player who can easily flourish. But he's being paid. Or you're training, you're registering. I think these are all critical questions. When moments like this happen, can they bounce back? Of course, they need to bounce back. Because, if anything outside a good result against Midiama bad, and don't forget, Midiama are party destroyers. Midiama and the man coach said after Olusu 2-0 to Midiama, Honana, he was fired. And you need to notice something. Though Midiama about draw against Bechem United, but it was a gamer. Benjamin Esiedu, the goalkeeper, was the hero of the day. One of the best keepers we have in the league. Benjamin Esiedu. They have these young guys, and boys now called blasters no swabber. And when you are going to play against Midiama, you should not be playing against them under pressure. Except pressure near balance. And that is very, very unfortunate. I'm out for a substitute. ABC Obed. What was the formation? What was the system? When we sign players like Inusa Listowo, how can you compete? A resource saying the coach answer. Because now people be asking questions. Also, I something about Inusa. I know I'm a kind. Say, Obetime first 20 minutes of good football. But after about 20-30 minutes, most were a free game. It can play a sound. You bomb free bench. And the last time you discussing Mauli Wayo. And you say, why you what the free bench bar? Sa 20 to 30 minutes. Obama defenders one show ma starting na. O starting kakra na ni jedu. So that is where the questions will be coming in. Johnson, Inusa, Listowo, what has been their impact? And confess yes, the conversation now. A sign is has not really proved the point. Because we cannot comfortably believe in Aziz Darun Adari. So, what the position aboso? Orientimi Sinipi. Francis Akwenyan to Patrick Esiedu. Joseph Amo and Tuno. And as Zakaria ne Samba ne boy. And the team considered 2 goals at the back. What in common I say? Adabo na famudie, but so what checking the standard of Kotoko defensive midfielders. What you say Akabi? Yes, inconsistency kakra. You talk about Jehu, where you know. You can talk about what you said, where you know. What mean can't say those where you know. Wali di ba no obebo kakra no prawa sanko. Now Inusa, Listowo, Donzu, Johnson, and the improvement which was expected from the new signings, Sabreya, ebia old ones, nibi je dum no Sabre they said new signings nejeboso, which clearly most of them would almost start here. Na koye BBC kakra. Enti adwuma wo team no ho. Adwuma wo team no ho. Too much excuses. Those who, to be honest, is just an ordinary player. You must really see because he's a foreigner. You get to a point. The fans will start expressing their displeasure. And a only resource beat me a calm more down. How can you beat Midiama if you can't beat Basake? Well, that's football. Football there. And follows our logic, no. So what I say, support Kwashe has. But I say Basake. And Basake Kotoko. Football follows our logic, no. But the team must up their game, confirm. They must clearly up their game. And Ejuma Ohoma coach Concede Zito. Because Amanfu said resources has been handed over to him. He is supposed to bring the best out of the resources. And Amanfu Hunesa. So interesting times ahead. But not the best of days for Kotoko. Not the best of days for Kotoko. At least a draw. Kebebwa. But consistently I kept on saying, say, Michelle Kotoko injuries. Michelle Kotoko Kotoko afem. And Michelle Kotoko sampatemu resource omo tenya. And Johnson Smith now Robert na bench. And the fact that one she and Kotoko underestimated Basake. These were the 5 reasons. 1 was injuries. 2 was fatigue. Consistently, coach has been talking about it. And also, coach can was some ebenya enu etrese eyedie koso enkomo a omudie and a coach abekemi no. O say na ade So injuries, fatigue, the area alcohol some potemo or matches tie Johnson Smith being the manager, and finally complacency. Sir, over underestimate 2 opponents into say where the question about that thing normally affects your resource and that is where the scary aspect is. Competing round. They were emphatic and penny forces said Sebi Ubia Neni Enya a catcher of Soba Tobo Baboa a yan and 9 and sa is in your muscle. And it looks like number 9 is SCBB so. I'm on 9 SCBB so. The only way they can calm down the fans, and I'm looking at Nipa Dosen and Beba Stadium, Namia Adoma Sunday, on the disadvantage. Matches are a leading to big games. I could commit me at 20 years. Mostly, I'm resource in Koye. Me sure say them call for trouble because they will end up saying I'm making excuses for the team. Maybe Subacas of 4, maybe I say, you are hitting the nail right on the head. But I think there are answers the team must give to us. And the best of answers going back to the field and getting the results. Basake for the common salary abum gonfe. Ne ndura himbia. Baba be compared to Kotoko no. Na Kotoko diane broso. You must just be careful with things going on. Now, once again, bad signings in January. On Saturday, we was telling you for the past 2 weeks. Signings in January, signings in January, signings in January. We must not use some of these ABR challenges kakreba to make the wrong signings in January. It's not too late. Just 3 points between Kotoko and Adriana. 3 points here, 1 game. 3 points here, 5 matches. You can play the next 5 matches and the first round. Na Kotoko ebi kura ababechi league, which is a possibility. Ni nyina depend wo. Ekwan a onyoma ahwie gu no obefa so ahyehe. So I'm expecting them to meet, plan on how they can start fixing the issues and come back stronger out the Ghana Premier League and other matches. Konfe, yemfa yenseminisia. Na nyame ya atomo ebesen hie biem. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop your comments. Bye bye.